what we are going to learn today is we are going to learn how to plot, right? How to do visualizations, right? For example, let's say I want to create a bar plot, right? In order to create a bar plot, how do I do that? Let's say I want to create a scatter plot, right? How do I create a scatter plot, and which kind of data should I use in order to create a scatter plot? If I want to do all these kind of plots, what should I do? What should I not do? All these things we'll try to learn today. Okay. So first of all, in order to create any plot, we can directly use pandas. Okay. So in pandas, there are these functions available to create the plot, right? For example, let's say you have a data frame, right? First of all, let me try to show you what we need to do initially. Initially, we just need to import all the libraries, right? We need to import NumPy as well as pandas. And then anyone who can explain me what I'm trying to do. Anyone can explain me what I am trying to do in this cell. What am I trying to do in this cell? Yes. Okay, okay. Tony Stark, I'll do that. I'm actually doing that. Okay, I'm actually recording the session, so you will get the recording session on YouTube if you are not able to attend the session. Okay, because of electricity failure or maybe some other reasons. Yes, correct, Samir. Yes, correct. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to create a pandas data frame, which is called as DF, right? And whatever is present inside my computer's hard drive, the CSV file, I'm trying to load it inside the computer's RAM in this form of DF data frame, right? And finally, we are trying to print out the first 5 rows of this data frame in order to understand what kind of data do I have. Now what I want to do is I want to create something called as a histogram plot. Now what do I mean by histogram plot? I'll just show you that, but before that I'll try to show you how do I create a plot in pandas. Okay, in order to create any plot in pandas, I need to simply say data frame dot plot, and then I need to mention what kind of plot do I need to create inside double inverted quotes. And what are all the kind of plots available in pandas? We have a line plot, we have a bar plot, we have a horizontal bar plot, we have histogram, box plot, KDE, density plot, area plot, pie chart, as well as scatter and hex bin plot. Okay, you can do any of these plots using this. Instead of just try to put kind here. Okay, just try to put a kind here. Maybe you can put line or bar h, or maybe his or box KD, anything, right? Whatever you do, you will get a plot. Okay, now let me show you one of these plots, right? So this is called as histogram plot, right? What is actually happening here is it is basically creating a histogram plot, right? It is basically telling us that there are, so from 4 to 5, right? From 4 to 5, there are around 9 different flowers, right? The frequency is nothing but represented by this y-axis. On x-axis we are representing sepal length centimeter. Okay, sepal length centimeter has been displayed on the x-axis, and on y-axis we are basically taking this frequency, right? And what I mean by this is there are around 9 flowers which are having a sepal length centimeter between 4 to 5 centimeters, right? Sorry, 4 to this much centimeters, right? Whatever is it, right? So if I talk about this part, right? Starting from here till here, this much height, this much sepal length centimeter, this much of this, right? This column, right? Similarly, all the other things, right? For example, let me again take an example. Maybe let me say I have, is my voice breaking for all the people? All right. So am I audible now? I think I just changed my internet connection. So Wi-Fi network. So I hope I'm audible now without any voice issues. Okay. 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 All right. So let's continue. Okay. Let's continue. So what I was saying was, let me try to show you a couple of things here. Okay. So let's say there is a column. Let's say there is a data frame with this column, and let's say it contains age. Okay, let's say it contains age, and let's say 1 year, maybe let's say there is somebody with 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. And now, how do I create a histogram for this? In order to create a histogram, right? In order to create a histogram, what I can do is I have one, let's say this is one, and then I have maybe let's say, um, let me again try to see. Let me try to give you actually some examples so that it makes more sense. Instead of just talking about it, let me try to come up with an example. Yeah, I think I have an example here. Yeah. So let me open up this page. Lucifer, I hope now you are able to hear me clearly, right? Okay. So let's say this is an example with me. Okay. So let's say this is an example. So let's see how to create a histogram. Okay. Let's say there are some ages given to me, right? Somebody with 36 years of age, for 25, 38, 46, 55, 68, 72, 55, 36, 38, 67, 45, and so on, right? So all these ages are given to me, right? And I want to create a histogram. Now, how do I create a histogram with the data available with me? First of all, what I need to do is I need to create some bins. Okay, I need to decide what kind of bin do I want. For example, in this case, they have taken a bin of 20 till 30, right? And from 20 till 30, if you try to observe the data, right? If you try to observe the data, there is this data point, and there is one more data point, this one, right? So the frequency of numbers that are around, that are basically present in this range of 20 to 30 is 2, right? Similarly, we'll create another bin of 30 to 40, right? So if you see 30 to 40, this one, right? 1, 2, 2 ho gaya, 3, 4, right? And nothing else. Yeah. So you have 4 data points, right? You have 4 data points, which are all these things, right? Okay. So yes, Soumya, I'll do that. I'm actually sharing the videos now on the daily basis. Okay. So you just need to go to the YouTube channel and you will be able to find all the video recordings on the daily basis. You will get that. Now, similarly, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create another bin of 40 to 50. And again, if you see that we have exactly 4 data points in this 40 to 60, as 40 to 50, right? Again, if you see 50 to 60, we have 5 data points. 60 to 70, we have 3 data points. 70 to 80, we have 1 data point. 80 to 90, there is nothing, and 90 to 100, there is exactly 1 data point again, right? Now, if I show you what is actually happening here, right? If I want to create a bar plot for this, so what I will do is I'll try to create a bar plot in this way, right? So I'll create a bar plot in this way, right? So 20 to 30, how many data points were there? From 20 to 30, how many data points were there? There were 2 data points, right? So there were, the frequency was 2, right? So if you see this 20 to 30, we have a bar of height 2, right? Similarly, 30 to 40, we have a bar of height this 4, right? Similarly, 40 to 50, again a bar of height 4, then a bar of height 5, then a bar of height 3, then a bar of height 1, and then a bar of height 0, and then again a bar of height 1, right? I hope everybody understood how to create a histogram. Yes or no? Is it clear to everyone? All right. It is very easy to create a bar plot, right? So this is the easiest one. Now let's say I want to create a KDE plot, right? I want to create a KDE plot for maybe let's say sepal and centimeter, right? What it will do is it will try to again see the density, right? It will show you the density. It will tell you that the data that you have in your hand look something like this, right? So it is the maximum height, then again it is coming down, right? So it will simply tell you the density of the data in this form of a KDE. This is called as a KDE plot, right? This pink color line is called as a KDE plot. It will basically show you what is the density at each point, right? So it is something like that. Now, similarly, we have something called as box plot also, right? If you observe this, we are just saying this thing, right? We are just saying kind equal to KDE here. Is that fine? You don't have to worry about this part, Avanish. Okay, you don't need to worry about this part. This is nothing for your concern. Okay, so it is simply saying that it is a matplotlib plot that you see in front of you, which is a subplot. Okay, with some ID, with some address where the plot is present inside the memory. Okay, so that is the case here. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. Similarly, if you see this part, we are having a box plot here, right? We are creating a box plot here for sepal and centimeter, right? Now, if you see this very carefully, can you tell me how many plots have we studied till now? We have seen an example of histogram. We have seen an example of KDE. We have seen now the example of box plot, right? Now, how many variables was I using for each of these plots? How many variables? So if I have this data set, how many columns was I using in order to create these plots? I was having sepal and centimeter. I was having sepal width centimeter. I was having petal length, and I was having petal width along with a species column. Now, how many columns do you see I am using here? How many columns am I using in order to create this box plot? One column, right? I'm using one column. Again, let's go back. Let's go back. Again, anyone who can see how many columns am I using in order to create this KDE plot? Again one? Again one? Yes, yes, correct, right? Again, for this histogram, how many columns am I using? Again one, right? Again, I'm using one column in order to create this histogram. So these three kind of plots that you see in front of you, they are called as univariate plot. Univariate plots. Now, do you understood why we call it univariate? We are using one, uni means one, variate means variable. We are using one variable at a time and we are trying to visualize it. That's why we call it a univariate plot. I hope this makes sense to everyone. Now, is there something called as bivariate plot? The question is there something called as bivariate plot? What do I mean by bivariate? Anyone who can explain me what is the meaning of bivariate? Yes, two, right? Bi means two, variate means variable, right? If I can plot two variables on a same plot, I would say that it is nothing but a bivariate plot. Now, what kind of plots are bivariate plot? One of these plots is called as a scatter plot, right? A plot, the scatter plot is basically plotted on two variables, right? One variable I'm using as sepal length centimeter, one variable I'm using as petal length centimeter, right? If you see this df dot plot, same thing. And then finally, I'm saying that x equal to sepal length centimeter, y equal to petal length centimeter in order to denote what should be the x-axis and what should be the y-axis. Is this clear to everyone? I'm just showing you how to plot it today, okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to show you one case study, one project, where we'll be seeing how to utilize all the things that we have learned till now in order to create a data analyst plot. Data analysis project, okay? Yes, yes, Lucifer, yes. Is that fine till now? Yes, heat map also, I'll show you that. Heat map is the easiest one. So let me try to close this thing. So these are the way, this is the way you can plot these different basic plots like histogram, like KDE, like your box plot, like your scatter plot, right? In order to plot these things, you don't need anything else. You can directly use pandas function. And what is that function? That function is nothing but called as data frame dot plot, right? This is the function plot. And these are all the kind of plots that you can plot using this thing. Okay, you can plot a density plot, you can plot an area plot, you can plot a pie plot, right? Just try to utilize this entire thing in order to understand what are all the plots you can plot, what are all the plots you can draw in this using this panda. Fine with everyone? Yes or no? So by the end of today's session, I'll share a link. Okay, I'll share a link for this session. Okay, so if you fill this link, I will be sharing with all of you the foundations of data analysis wala certificate. Okay, foundations of Python wala certificate you will be receiving today by the end of the day, or maybe tomorrow before afternoon you will be receiving this certificate. Okay, I've already prepared everything. Okay, I just need to send it to all the people. Okay, I will ask somebody from my team to send all the people all these certificates. Okay, just wait for maybe 12 hours, you will be receiving that. Okay, foundations of data analysis by the end of tomorrow. Okay, once you attend all the sessions, will be basically creating and sending you all these things also. Okay, perfect. Many of you were asking about the certificates. That's why I thought I should talk about it. Okay, so should I give you okay, Akshay, just try to make sure that you attend all the previous videos lecture, right? So everything is available in the YouTube channel. Okay, let me try to share the link to all the things. So should I put the link to certificate right now? I will give you 5 minutes. Just try to fill up this that thing so that you are registered for the certificate, right? Is that fine? Okay, so I'll be doing that. I'll be sharing all the links. Okay, I'll be sharing all the links: certificate link, code link, my profile link, as well as company profile link, as well as YouTube channel link. On YouTube channel, you will receive all the videos. Okay, yeah. So you can go ahead and try to fill up the form. Okay, try to write a detailed feedback. Okay, so it is a feedback form also. Okay, it is no problem. Just try to fill up the form, Harita. Okay, just try to fill up the form and try to make sure that you complete all the previous sessions from the YouTube channel. Okay. If you are done, just try to ping me on my LinkedIn. I'll try to maybe do something about it. If you are done, just tell me, just say a yes. I'll try to continue with the session. Yes, yes, correct, Lucifer. Avnish, Bayes theorem, naive Bayes, everything will be coming here. Naive Bayes algorithm will be coming here, right? Similarly, somebody is talking about KNN. KNN also going to come here, right? It is going to be one of these 10 to 15 algorithm. Somebody is talking about CNN, ANN. So CNN, ANN will come here. Okay. Yes, correct. Yes. So there is something called as Bayes theorem in probability, right? When you learn probability, when you learn probability over here, you will be learning something called as conditional theorem, independent event. You will be learning Bayes theorem, right? The same Bayes theorem can be used in machine learning also in terms of, so we have something called as naive Bayes algorithm in machine learning. If you understand probability, then only you will be able to understand this theorem, this algorithm. Making sense to everyone? So how many of you now think that in order to become data scientist, you need to learn so many things? Actually, I believe that. I believe that you need to learn a lot in order to become a data scientist, right? It is not that easy. It is not that easy, right? You need to have a very strict routine, right? It is like building a body, right? In order to build a muscular body, you need to do a lot of gym, right? You need to do a lot, right? Similarly, in order to become a data scientist, you need to learn a lot. That is really nice to hear, Ashwarya. So I would suggest you to start learning all these things. Okay. So by the end of this course, right, you would be able to have some idea about this part: descriptive statistics and libraries, these NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, right? Right? Is it fine? Can you please give the full form of SAS, Nihal? Are you talking about SAAS or SAS? I think you are talking about the tool, right? Yes. So it is a tool, Nihal, right? So it is a tool in so see, what you can do is either you can go into that direction where you start learning tools, or you can go into that direction where you start learning these things, right? Learning tools. See, maybe today SAS is there, tomorrow some other tool might come, right? Now let's say you become very proficient with SAS, and tomorrow let's say somebody else come up with a better tool. All the things that you have learned over the year is going to go into the dustbin, right? Because the new tool is going to demand new set of things, right? But if you know the basics, right? If you know these basics, nobody can replace you, right? This is the power of all the fundamentals, right? If you know the fundamentals, no one can replace you. If you start learning only the tools, right, tools can be replaced, right? People who only know tools, they can be very easily replaced, right? So I would suggest you to go into the depths of all these things that we are covering here. Is that fine? Yeah. Right. So there are multiple different tools out there in the market, and people start working on these tools because initially they will see that the salary is very good in these things, right? Like SAS, or maybe you have SAP, right? You have SAS, right? Similarly, you have so many other things, and salaries look good, right? For example, even in Tableau, right? Even in Tableau, the salaries are very good, but there is no growth. Yes, SPSS also the same story. SPS is again a tool, right? You will see that the salaries are very good in the initial phase, but if you start working on the field, in this field, you will never come out of this field. You will never come out of these things, right? Even Salesforce. How many of you have heard of Salesforce? Again a tool, right? Again a tool. Making sense to everyone? Yes, right. So make sure that you are into that place where you are not learning tool, but you are learning something interesting. Let me give you an example so that you make more sense out of all these things. Let's say you know plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Let's say you know how to do plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Is it clear to everyone? Let's say you already know how to do plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Now, how much time will you take to just learn how to do it on calculator? If I give you a calculator, and let's say you have never seen a calculator before, how much time will it take you to basically learn these operations on a calculator? If you know how to do all these things from the fundamentals, how much time will it take you to learn the calculator? Few seconds, right? It is going to take you few seconds. Now, do you see calculator is just a tool, right? Calculator is just a tool. Let's say you know how to do plus, how to do minus, how to do multiply, how to do divide, everything, right? You know mathematical fundamentals. Let's say tomorrow somebody else come up with, instead of calculator, maybe let's say computer. And in computer, let's say they install an application of calculator. Is it possible to now use this calculator application inside the computer also? Because fundamentals are going to be the same, right? Fundamentals are going to be the same. You just need to know which button to press when, right? The same is the story with all these tools that you see here, right? Be at that point where you learn all these things, right? If some company is asking you to work on these things, maybe it is a good idea to learn these things, but do not see your future in these tools, okay? Until unless you are talking about, you are looking at making it a freelance or career or something like that. Making sense to everyone? Great. All right. All right. See, the reason is I've seen so many people who wants to learn Tableau, right? They will always say, whenever we take a data science session, right? Data science session, they will say, I just want to learn Tableau or Power BI. Tableau or Power BI. Right? So these are the tools, two tools that will help you to do data analysis, right? They are just drag and drop tools that will help you to do data analysis. It is very easy to learn Power BI or Tableau in just a month. Okay, with 1 month training, complete end-to-end Power BI and Tableau can be learned. Okay, you don't need any fundamental knowledge, nothing, right? If you already have a fundamental knowledge, you won't even you don't even need 1 week to learn Tableau or Power BI. It is just a tool like calculator. If you know the fundamentals, you would be able to learn on your own how to use these tools, right? Fundamentals are really very important. Okay, I hope this makes sense, right? So yeah, I really spent a lot of time explaining that thing. Now let me try to go back to the browser and let's try to learn some programming today. Okay, let's try to learn Matplotlib and Seaborn now. Everyone has filled the certification form. Everyone has filled the form for the certification. If you have filled, then only you will get the certification. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the certification. Okay, so just let me know if you have not filled. I'll try to send it again, the link. All right, so yeah. All right, so if everyone is done, Okay, you haven't filled the form, so yeah, I will send it again. Give me a second. Yeah. So this is, oh, I think I sent it to Wolf. Yes, Monica, just try to look into the chat. I've just shared the form. Okay, just fill it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next concept. Let's try to see how to build, how to create better visualizations, right? But before that, we'll try to look at some basics of visualizations, and then we'll try to go to the more advanced visualization stuff. Okay. So let me try to come to the basic part. Yeah. First of all, let's try to understand what is a box plot and how do we interpret a box plot, right? For example, what I'm trying to do here, right? What I'm trying to do here, first of all, I'm trying to basically load some libraries, some new library called as matplotlib, right? So this is matplotlib.pyplot as plt. I hope everyone understands. I don't want to write this line again and again in order to use any functionality of this library, right? So that's why I'm just using a shorthand notation for this entire thing. I'm simply renaming this entire thing to plt. Okay, I'm just doing a rename stuff, nothing else, right? Once I did that, once I'm done with this thing, let me try to go down and show you some real stuff. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is, oh, screen is not visible. Yes, I'm sharing the screen. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Okay. So is it visible now? Is it visible now? All right. So what I just showed you. Okay, I'm so sorry, Akshay. What I just showed you, I was just talking about this NumPy and pandas and this new library that we are now going to learn, which is called as matplotlib.pyplot, and I'm using a shorthand notation of this library as PLT. I'm just renaming this thing. Okay, I'm just renaming this thing. Now let me go down and let me show you some real stuff. Okay. Now, first of all, I will try to load the data, right? I'll try to load the data New York weather.csv inside this frame data frame called as DF. And what I can do is I can simply try to have a look at the data frame. If you see this, there are multiple different rows and multiple different columns, right? Now, let's say I want to understand inside the data frame how many number of rows and how many number of columns are there. What I can do, a very simple thing, right? I can simply say df.shape. It is going to show me how many rows and how many columns are there, right? Now, do you see that 31 rows and 11 columns are there in this entire data, right? And similarly, if I say df.describe, I can also look into all the statistical information, right? I can see what is the minimum value in each column, right? I can see what is the maximum value in each column. I can see what is the mean of each column, what is the standard deviation of each column, what is the 50th percentile, or in simple terms, what is the median of each column. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone, yes or no? All right. Now, I want to ask you one question. Okay, I want to ask you one question. Do you remember that there is something called as an outlier that we have already seen in the first day of this session? We have seen something called as an outlier, right? Let's say there is some data. Let me again explain you what is an outlier. Let's say we have a column called as age. Age is containing, yes, Ravindan, yes, correct. We have this data. Maybe let's say we have all this data, right? And maybe let's say there is one data point which is having 100 as the age, right? All the ages are like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, right? And there is one data point with 100 as the age. Can anyone tell me how which data point out of all these data points is an outlier? What do you think is an outlier in this data? Correct. 100 is an outlier, right? What is an outlier? Now, what is an outlier? Outlier is any extremely low or an extremely high value, right? If you have any value which is extremely small or extremely large, that kind of value is called as an outlier. Okay, everyone, please try to remember this thing. Okay. Okay. Now, outliers can, yes, extreme values are called as an outlier. Now, outliers can really hurt. outliers can really hurt the data, the machine learning models that we are going to build on the later stage, right? So we need to detect the outliers, right? We need to detect the outliers, and somehow we need to know how to remove those outliers from the data. Or instead of removing, we can also look into something called as treatment of the outliers, right? Treatment of the outliers. Is it possible to treat the outliers? Otherwise, just try to remove all the points which are outliers in your data. Is it clear to everyone? Vidyasagar, do you want me to repeat something else? Okay. Okay. So what I want to say here, let's say you are talking about, let's say 10th class students, 10th class students. And let's say you are looking at the age of these 10th class students, right? Maybe let's say people are like 15, 16, maybe somebody's with 17 years of age. Let's say there is a person with one year old who is 1 year old, and there is a person who is 50 years old. Now, can you tell me which points in this entire data are outliers? Let's say there is a person with 15 years ka age, one person with 15, another person with 16, another person with 17, another person with 1, another person with 50. Which points are outlier in this data? Can I, yes, Shweta, correct. Can I say both 1 and 50 are the outliers? Right? Both 1 and 50 are the outliers, right? Right? Normally 10th class student is going to be in this age group, right? Normally 10th class student is going to be in this age group. But if you see, a 1 year old child can't be a 10th class student, right? Similarly, 50 years old, it looks like an outlier. There is something wrong with these two data points, right? So we need to remove, or we need to basically update, we need to treat these outliers. Maybe somebody forgot to mention that the age is 15. Instead of 15, they accidentally put only 1 there, right? Similarly, somebody who was trying to put, maybe let's say 15 again, maybe they accidentally put 50 here inside this box, right? So you need to understand what kind of data you have and how you can treat this data if you have outliers, right? So this is really very important. Now, is there a way, the question is there a way to treat the outliers? Is there a way to treat the outliers? And the answer is yes. We won't be able to cover that part in this session. The reason is it is a little advanced topic. Okay. What we'll cover is, we'll cover how to identify the outliers, whether outliers are present in the data or not. How do we do that? We'll try to understand that now. Okay. In order to identify the outliers in the data, the first thing, the most basic thing that most of the people will do is they'll try to plot something called as a box plot. Okay, they will try to plot something called as a box plot. Now I will try to show you how to plot a box plot using matplotlib. Okay, using matplotlib, how to plot a box plot. Let's try to look at that. In order to plot a box plot, first of all, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look into all the columns that I have in the data. Now, let's say I want to plot a box plot on this column called as temperature, right? Now, can anyone tell me which library are we using in order to basically do this thing? In order to plot this box plot, which library are we using? What is the name of the library? Yes, correct, Avanish. So the library name is matplotlib dot pyplot, right? And we have renamed this thing as PLT. We have renamed this thing as PLT. Now, do you see that we are using something called as PLT here, and there is something called as box plot inside this PLT? Yes or no? Are you all able to understand, identify this part? Right? There is a box plot inside this PLT, right? Matplotlib.pyplot, which is renamed as PLT. It is containing something called as box plot, right? And box plot is a univariate or a bivariate analysis wala tool. Anyone? Yes, it is a univariate, right? We have already seen in the starting of this session that it is a univariate. So do you see that we are simply saying that take data frame में से temperature column and create a box plot on it, right? Do you see this is a box plot now, right? This is a box plot for this temperature column. Now, let me show you what do I mean by this line that you see in the middle of this box plot. This line represents the median of this column temperature. Temperature column is having a median which is very close to 35. Let me actually prove it to you. Okay, let me actually prove it to you. Let's go up. Let's go up. We have already done the describe function, right? We have already done the describe function on temperature. Where is the median? Yes, 50th percentile. Do you see 35 is the 50th percentile? Right? Is it clear to everyone? Now, what is 25th percentile? Just try to make a note of it. Okay, you everyone just try to make a note of it. What is 29th percentile and what is 39? What is 75th percentile? Okay, we have 29 as well as 39 as the 25th and 75th percentile. Let's go back. Let's go back to the box plot. Now, do you see that this line is very close to 29? Right? This line is very close to 29. This lower part of this box, right? And the upper part of this box, it is very close to 40, right? So it might be 29 and it might be 39.5, right? Now this line basically denotes the 75th percentile of this column. This represents 25th percentile of this column and this represents the 50th percentile of this column. Is it clear to everyone? This is something that you have in the box plot. Okay, and what do we call these lines? What do we call these lines? These lines are called as whiskers of this box plot. Whiskers. We call these lines as whiskers of this box plot. Is it clear to everyone? I'm going into very basics. Okay, so that everyone can understand each and everything, I'm going into a lot of basics. Fine with everyone? Yes or no? Now, the biggest advantage, the biggest application of box plot is to understand the outliers, right? In order to understand whether data is containing outliers or not, we try to create box plot on each and every column. Now, if you see any point, if you see any dot above this line, above this whisker or below this whisker, do you remember the outlier is nothing but extremely large values or extremely small values? Do you remember that? Right? It can be either extremely large values or extremely small values, right? So these are the outliers. Now, if any point occurs maybe towards the upper part or the lower part, we will call it as a outlier. Yes, Rajesh, both. Yes, or right. It can either be extremely large or it can be extremely low, right? It can be a case where you have both extremely large and extremely low values in your data. Is it clear with everyone? Are you all able to understand what do I mean by this entire box plot and how to read it? You can simply detect all the outliers in the data when you create a box plot. Now, similarly, what I want to do is I want to create a box plot on something called as wind direction degree. Let's see the box plot, and you guys tell me whether you see any outlier in the data or not. Right? There is a column called as wind direction degree. Right? There is a column called as wind direction degree, and I'm creating a box plot on it. Now, anyone, can you see the outliers? Where are the outliers? Are these extremely low values or are these extremely large values or both? Yes. Towards the lower end, you will see the dots, right? So all these values are extremely low values, right? So we have in wind direction degree, there are some values which are outliers, which are acting like an outlier. Is it clear to everyone? Right? There are these points, right? Then there is another point, right? Then there are 2 to 3 points overlapping each other. Then there are again 2 points overlapping each other, right? So these are all the outliers in the data. Clear to everyone, yes or no? All right. Now let's look into this distribution, right? So again, a univariate analysis, if you see this, right? Now we are using matplotlib in order to create this histogram, right? We are using matplotlib in order to create this histogram. Do you remember we can also do this using pandas, right? We can use pandas directly to do these things. But now we are learning something called as matplotlib, right? Matplotlib is a very, very, very powerful tool, right? A very, very powerful tool. And on top of it, we'll use something called as Seaborn, right? I'm just showing you some basics of Matplotlib, and then I'll try to show you some basics of Seaborn and how to use Seaborn on the data that you have, right? We'll see how to create other plots also, right? Now, scatter plot, in order to create scatter plot, do you see that scatter plot is nothing but between two variables? We are simply saying plot plt.scatter, right? This is a function. Scatter is a function which can take two different columns and it can create a scatter plot between these two columns. Fine with everyone? Is this fine with everyone? I just showed you earlier, I showed you how to do all these things with pandas, right? Now I showed you how to do all these things with Matplotlib. Matplotlib. Now I will show you how to do all these things with Seaborn, right? Seaborn is the more advanced library, right? It is a more advanced library, and it is something that is going to be used everywhere. Yes, correct. Is it fine? Avanish, these points, are you talking about these points? Are you talking about these? All right. So let me show you what are these points. Okay. So in the data, you have, let's say, two columns. One column is temperature, right? One column is, let's say, dew point. Let me call it DP, right? So there might be, right? For example, if you have temperature key value 2 and DP key value 3. So what you are going to do is, or maybe let's say there is a 20 here and there is maybe let's say a 30 here. So what you are going to do is, in order to represent this row, this data point, you will go to 20, you will go to 30, and you will try to plot a dot here. Understood? Understood this thing? So each row, each column, each row is basically each data point, right? Each row is nothing but a data point. Each data point is represented like this in this scatter plot. Now, do you remember which statistical measure helps us to understand? So for scatter plot, I have told you that there is something called as the statistical measure, right? There is a statistical measure that we can use, or we can use scatter plot in order to basically do the visualization. We can do either one of these things. Can anyone remember that? While talking about the entire roadmap of a data science to become a data scientist, I showed you something, right? Do you remember? I was talking about measure of relationships. Do you remember this measure of relationship? In measure of relationship, I was saying that there is something called as covariance and correlation, right? Covariance and correlation, right? So either you can compute this thing, these are two statistical terms, or you can create this visualization to understand how two values are related to each other. Now, do you see that in this data, how are they related? What is the relationship between these two columns, temperature and dew point? What is the relationship? Let's try to understand that now. Yes, Akshay, you can do that. Yes, Akshay, you can definitely do that. Maybe you can also use a histogram, or maybe you can use a KD plot, or maybe you can use a scatter plot also. That can also define, that can also show you the outliers, right? But at this point where you are just starting with your data science journey, I would suggest you to use box plot in order to understand whether there is an outlier or not. Is that fine? Yes, correct, Shweta. Yeah. All right. So let's try to look at this. Okay. Let's say there is a data point which is somewhere here. Now, can I say that this point is an outlier compared to all the data that you have in this scatter plot? Can I say that this point is an outlier if there is a point like this over here? Yes, right? Right? Any extremely large or low value can be called as an outlier, right? So this is a very different value from all the data that you have. All the data points are somewhere here, right? But there is a single data point which is over here. So it can also be called as an outlier, right? Now, what we were talking about here, we were talking about what is the relationship between temperature and dew point. Let's try to understand that. Okay. So there are actually two kind of linear relationships, right? There are two types of linear relationships. Now, what are these two type of linear relationships? If one variable increases, what happens to the second variable? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Right? If x increases, is y decreasing or increasing? Right? These are the two kind of linear relationships that you need to understand. Now let's try to understand it using this diagram, using this scatter plot. Let's try to understand whether this is the relationship here or this is the relationship here. Let's try to understand that. Let's say x in this case is temperature and y in this case is nothing but dew point. Now let's take any data point, let's maybe try to talk about this data point. Now, do you see that this is the temperature value for this data point and this is the dew value for this data point? Are you all confirming this thing, that this is the dew point and somewhere here is the temperature value? Yes or no? All right. Now, let me take another data point, which is maybe let's say somewhere here, right? Now, is this the temperature value and is this the dew point value? Yes or no? Again, yes or no? Correct? Am I correct? Right? Now, do you see that as x increases, right? Earlier, x was between 25 to 30, right? Now X is between 40 to 45, right? Now X is between 40 to 45. As X increases, is dew point increasing or decreasing? Tell me, is dew point increasing or decreasing? It is increasing, right? It is increasing linearly, correct, Kundan? Right? So we will say that this is the kind of relationship we are talking about here. Okay, we are talking about a positive relationship, not a negative relationship, right? How will a negative relationship look like? Let's also try to talk about that. If your scatter plot looks like this, if your scatter plot looks like this is the kind of negative relationship I'm talking about, right? For example, if we take any data point, right? If we take any data point, this is the X value, this is the Y value, Y and X. Now, as I increase X, let's see what happens. Let's say we are now at this point. Now, can you say that with the increase in X, Y is decreasing? Can I say that? Yes or no? Do you see that with increase in X, Y is decreasing? So this is a kind of negative relationship, right? This is called as negative correlation or negative relationship, right? Whenever we talk about relationship, we need at least two variables. Everyone should understand this, right? Whenever we talk about relationships, we need at least two variables, right? For example, let me take an example. Okay, let's say you are a person, right? Right? Let's say you are a person, maybe a boy or a girl. Now you need, for example, if you are a boy, you need a girl, right? To be in a relationship, you need a girl, right? If you are a girl, you need a boy to be in a relationship. You individually can't have a relationship, right? Making sense? You need two variables, at least two variables. It can be a love triangle also, right? It can be a love triangle also. You need at least two variables to be in a relationship. Making sense to everyone, right? A single variable, you won't be talking about a relationship. If you have multiple variables, multiple columns, then only you will be talking about the relationships. How many are able to understand this now? So a relationship can be positive or a negative. Okay, so that is something that you need to understand in this case. Okay. All right, Lucifer. Okay. Now let's continue. Let's try to see how to do the same things with Seaborn. I hope everyone can see the Seaborn wala code, right? So we are having NumPy, we are having Pandas, we are having Matplotlib, and now here we are calling Seaborn, right? And how are we aliasing or how are we renaming this Seaborn? We are renaming this Seaborn as SNS, right? We are renaming this Seaborn library, Seaborn module as SNS, a shorthand notation, right? So this is what we have, right? This is what we have. Now, what I'm doing is I have some data in my computer, right? Which is stored inside something called as random.csv. I am loading this entire data inside DF data frame. And then finally, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to basically print out that entire data, right? The first 5 rows of the data frame, I'm trying to print it out. And so sorry, this line is giving this as the output. It is simply showing me what is the shape of the data, right? Can anyone tell me how many rows and how many columns do I have in this data? Looking at the shape of the data, can anyone tell me how many rows and columns are there? Yes, there are 1,000 rows, 1,000 rows. I didn't get the question. Somebody was asking about X and Y as parallel, something like that. I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I was not able to understand that. I think Rajesh was asking that question. Yes, Rajesh was asking. So can you please rephrase that question so that it is easy for me to understand? All right. By that time, okay. So let's either wait or maybe we can go to the next topic. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So let's move on. If points are parallel to x-axis. Okay. So Rajesh, you are talking about something like this. You're talking about something like this, Rajesh. Yes, Shweta, I got it. I think I got it perfectly fine now. Right? Yes. So there is no linear. So there is. So it won't be a positive or a negative relationship, right? So it won't be a positive or a negative relationship. This is not something that we'll try to basically say as positive or a negative relationship, because everything is like a constant, right? There is no variance in this column, right? This column is having no variance here. Okay. Yes, y is constant. Yes, Kundan. Y is constant, or you can also say that y is having no variance, right? Every data point is at the same point, right? On y-axis, everything is at the same point. There is no variance. But if you see x, do you see that the data spread is a lot, right? There is a lot of variance here, right? The data is spread it from there, here to there, right? So there is a lot of variance on the x-axis, but on y-axis, there is no variance. All right. Now, what do we call this plot? Have you already seen this plot? Anyone who can tell me that? Yes, KD. Yes, we have already seen KD plot, right? We have already seen KD plot, and in the background, do you see there is a histogram? Do you see there is a histogram in the background, right? So whenever we say SNS.dist plot, this dist plot can plot both the KDE as well as the histogram. Dist plot is going to plot both KDE as well as histogram. Always remember that, okay? So we are writing DFY. It means we are saying that we need, so there is a data frame, right? We have a data frame which is having X and Y as the column name, right? Now we are saying that just plot a KDE plot as well as histogram on this column, right? We are just doing this thing. And let's say I want to only plot histogram or I want to only plot KDE. What do I need to do in that case? In that case, I will just say cbond dist plot column name and then KD equal to false. If I say KD equal to false, it will only plot a histogram for me, right? Similarly, if I say instead of KD equal to false, if I say histogram equal to false, let me show you. If I say the same code, right? The same code with histogram equal to false, it will plot a KD, only the KD plot for me. Is it clear to everyone? See, all the plot is already available. All the plots are already all the code is already available for all of you to access. Okay, guys, just give me a minute. I need to make a very important call. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry, guys. I was on a call. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah. So let's come back to this thing, right? So somebody was asking about rug, right? So rug is nothing but, do you see that there is some kachra over the floor, right? There is something on the floor, right? On this x-axis, right? So this is because of this rug equal to true, right? Whenever we do rug equal to true, we are able to see that on y-axis you have all these values, right? This is a one-dimensional plot, right? This is a one-dimensional plot. It is basically showing you all this data on y-axis. Making sense to everyone? For example, let's say I have, let's say, age column. Let's say I have age column, something like this. I have 5, 6, 8, 9, right? So let's say 1, 4, right? Or instead of 4, let me try to put 2 here. Let me try to put 2 here, then 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, can anyone tell me how do I basically plot, how do I basically represent these data points on this axis? Anyone, can you tell me how do I represent these data points on this axis? Anyone? All right, so let me give you a hint. Okay, so what if I plot? See, first of all, I have 5. Yes, correct. By putting a dot, right? By putting a dot, what I can do is I can say that this is 5. Is it correct? Or maybe in the middle I should put 5. Somewhere in the middle, like this, right? This is 5, right? Similarly, 6, I can put a dot here, or a line, a strike here, right? Similarly, 8 is here and 9 is here, right? Now, do you see this is very similar to this? Right? So this is what it is actually happening, right? So all the data points, right? There are so many data points here that they are all cluttered up. They are all clustered up, right? They are all overlapping each other. There are so many data points in this region of -1, 2, 3. I hope now it makes sense what happens with rug equal to true. Is it clear to everyone? All right. Now let's go ahead. Let's try to see some bivariate analysis wale plot. The first one is scatter plot. Very easy to draw, right? You just need to say joint plot, right? You just need to say joint plot. On x-axis, you want to keep in the data frame that you were having, there was a column called as x and there was a column called as y. Okay, I kept the name of columns as x and y. So that's why I'm saying x here and y here. Okay, instead you can also have sepal length centimeter in that case of iris data, and petal length centimeter in case of iris data, right? In that case, you will write, instead of this x, you will write x, sepal length centimeter. Instead of y, you will write petal length centimeter, right? And the data is nothing but df, right? This entire data frame is called as df. And what kind of plot do I need to plot? I need to plot a scatter plot, right? So this is how you need to represent this entire information here inside this function, so that you can get this entire scatter plot. Is it clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? Right? So it is going to come to you, right? So just try to start practicing all these things. Just try to write some code. You will be able to understand how to write all this data, all this code in this format. Okay. Similarly, if you see this data, if you see this entire plot, do you see that there are so many data points in this region that you can't even see, right? For example, if I talk about this region, how many data points do you see? How many data points do you see in this region? 2, right? In this region, how many data points do you see? In this region, how many data points do you see? 4. But if I ask you this region, can anyone tell me how many data points do you see? Can you tell me how many data points are there in this region? We can't say, right? Are you all able to understand this, guys? Do you all understand? We can't say how many data points are there in this region, right? So in order to basically understand how many data points are there in which region, we have something called as hex bin plot, right? It is nothing but the same plot. If you see this and if you see this, they both are similar, right? They both are similar. I'm using the same formula, the same function, joint plot. Instead of putting kind equal to scatter, I'm putting kind equal to hex. I'm putting kind equal to hex here. Okay. So what it will draw is, it will draw something like this. Now it is telling me that in this region, right, in this region of that scatter plot, it was super dense, right? These very black region, they are like super dense. Yes, it is like X-ray. Yes, correct, right? So it is like heat map, right? It is called as a heat map. If you have heard of it, it is like heat map. It is basically making those regions as very dark regions which are having very dense population. right? For example, if you see this part, do you remember there were only 2 points? If you see this part, there are 4 points, right? It is very light, right? These points are very light to see, right? There are very less points in these regions. That's what it is trying to tell us. I hope this makes sense to everyone. Yes or no? Everyone, is it able to, everyone is able to understand this thing? Now, let me try to show you one very interesting thing in Seaborn, okay? Let's say you have a data like this: petal length, petal width, sepal length, sepal width. How many columns do you see? And species. How many columns do you see? 5 columns, yes or no? Now, yes, these are the 4 columns and 1 column is the species, right? Total 5 columns. Now, try to see this. If I want to check the relationship of this column with this column, with this column, with this column, similarly, I want to check the relationship of these 2 columns and this column and this column. I want to check the relation. I want to see all these possible relationships. Let's say I want to see all these possible relationships. Do you understand that I have to write a lot of code? I have to write multiple different joint plots in order to create multiple different scatter plots for all these relationships. Understood this? In this Seaborn, we have this very nice what do we say, function called as pair plot. You just need to say Seaborn dot pair plot. Yes, correct, correct. There are going to be 24 different ways, right? So we have this thing, right? We have this thing, pair plot, right? So pair plot, say what we can do is we can simply try to understand how many different and what are all those plots that we have in the data, right? We can do all that using this single pair plot. Is that fine with everyone? Is that fine with everyone? Yes or no? Great, great. Now, do you see that I am not, let me try to show you that actually. So let me come down. Let me try to zoom out a little so that we can see all. Oh, I don't want to show you the last plot. Yes, I think this is good enough. Yeah. Now, do you see that this plot that you have here, it is between sepal length centimeter and sepal width centimeter, right? Similarly, if you see this plot, it is between petal length centimeter and sepal width centimeter. If you see this plot, it is between sepal width centimeter and petal width centimeter. Now, is there any species information anywhere? Is there any species information anywhere in this data? Do you see any species information? You only have sepal length centimeter, sepal width centimeter, petal length and petal width centimeter, right? Now, what I can do is I can color code all these data points, right? I can color code maybe in pink color the species with Setosa, right? There are 3 different species, right? Setosa, versicolor and virginica, right? We have 3 different species. What I can do is I can color code all these data points with these species, right? So how do I do that in coding? In coding, we just need to say u equal to species. Okay, we just need to say Seaborn, just create a pair plot for with this iris data frame, right? Data frame is called as iris, right? And hue should be kept as species. I'm just saying that hue should be kept as species in this entire thing. And if you see this entire part, you would understand that these are the species, right? Setosa, versicolor, and virginica, right? Green color represents all these data points represent virginica, all these data points represent versicolor, and all these data points represent Setosa. Making sense to everyone? Yes or no? Perfect, perfect. So these are all the plots, right? Just I would suggest all of you to go through this entire notebook. Okay, go through this entire notebook that I have on GitHub. Okay, you all have my GitHub profile link. Okay, go to my GitHub profile link. You will find all the data that I have shared with all the people, right? So on my GitHub, you will also find many different interesting things, right? On my GitHub, you will find so many interesting different things, right? For example, let me show you one of those interesting things if you really want to see that. Let me come back to pandas. So you just need to go to visualizations. Where is, yes, EDA. And in EDA, we have Plotly. Let me open up the Plotly thing. So all this code is available on my GitHub. Okay. So let me actually show you what I mean. What do I mean here? Okay. So, um, All right, so it is not able to open up. Let me see if I need to install it again. No, I don't need to install it again. Just give me a second. I'm just running the code. I want to show you some output. Okay, the file is not found. Okay. Yes. So if I load this entire file, yes, this will work. Right? So you have this data, right? You remember this entire plot, right? So we use Seaborn joint plot to basically plot this entire data, right? Now let me go down. Let me actually show you something very interesting. So this is something called as Plotly. Okay, so I have Plotly wala code also on my GitHub, right? Just try to go through this entire code. Let me try to show you what actually happens. So this is a Plotly plot, right? So is there any difference that you see from Seaborn and Plotly? Is there any difference? So this plot and this plot, they are almost actually similar, right? The only thing is if you see this plot, there is histogram on this axis x and y. But if you see, yes, correct Avnish, but if you see this plotly wala thing, there is no histogram, right? But there is a very interesting difference here. Okay, so let me try to actually bring my mouse on top of any point. Now do you see that it is, you can interact with this entire plot, right? There is a grid as well. As you, if you hover your mouse over any of these data points, it is going to show you all the numbers, right? It shows me that this point is nothing but 26 on the x-axis and 21 on the y-axis, right? Isn't it interesting? If I go to the Seaborn doesn't have this feature. Seaborn doesn't have this feature. It is not interactive plotting, right? But if you see this thing, it is interactive, right? You can interact with the plot. You can also zoom in. You can also zoom in. Maybe let's say you want to look at this part of this entire plot. You can zoom into this plot, right? You can come back, right? Similarly, there is something like, let me try to, yeah. Let me try to show you multiple different plots. So this is scatter plot. We have already seen that, right? So, all right. So let me try to come back here, right? So this is a box plot. Do you remember this box plot? Let me try to show you how it looks in Plotly, right? So if I try to come here, do you see all the data information is basically given to us by this box plot, right? In Plotly, this will tell you what is the median, what is the 70th percentile, what is the 25th percentile, and so on, right? So all this information has been given to us. Similarly, if you see this, this is a Seaborn basic plot, and if you see this, it is a Seaborn ki jagah Plotly wala plot with all the information, right? We can interact with this entire plot. Similarly, if I go down, right? So this is another plot called as strip plot in Seaborn, right? You can also do a strip plot in Plotly as well, right? And similarly, there is one very interesting thing in Plotly, right? Let me actually show you that, if that is working right now, right? So now, do you see? I just plotted the entire world map, right? Using this code that you see here, I just plotted the entire world map, right? Now, do you see that this entire world map is something like this? Yellow region says 81,003. Can anyone tell me what is this value? What are all these values that you see in front of you? Can anyone think of it? Can anyone try to think of what are all these values? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, Vidya, no problem. Okay. So these are all the, so this plot is for the first time when the COVID was detected and all the things happened, right? In March, not even March, I think in Feb 2020, right? This plot is from Feb 2020, displaying all the number of cases in different countries, right? Different countries, for example, China, do you see 81,000 cases were there in China in Feb? But when you talk about India, only 113 cases were there. If you go to United States, there are 136 cases. In Brazil, everywhere the cases were very less, right? But in countries like China, the cases were like humongous, right? So similarly, I've also shown some animations here, right? Let me actually build this plot. It will take some time. Yes, it is done, right? If you see this, I've created some animations here, right? I've just added this line in this entire plot. If I now click on this play button, right, it will start moving from day to day, right? So let me try to bring it towards this side, right? You see there is a huge shift in the number of cases, right? America went to 60,000, 70,000 cases in June, July, right? Do you see? Right, the date is here, and everything is visible. In India, the cases are increasing in the last year. Do you see there were so many cases in Brazil? There were so many cases in US, but China number of cases were not moving, right? India was also having many cases last year, this June, July time, right? Isn't it interesting? Right, so these kind of plots also you can build. You can see all these things on my GitHub. Is that fine with everyone? Is that fine with everyone? If that is fine, then we can end up the session today. Okay. Yes or no, guys? Is it clear to everyone? Cool. All right. So, okay then. So I will be ending the session now. Thank you so much, Akshay. I will be ending up the session now. Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll try to show you one case study. Prithviraj, haven't you fill up that link? So I've already shared the link. Let me do that again. Okay, just fill up this certification wala link, and you will be marked as present, and you will be able to get the certificate also.